What's up, youth? Welcome back. If this is your first time joining us, I'm so glad you decided to tune in with us. Before we get started, how you doing? No, seriously, how are you doing? This is a crazy time we're experiencing right now. Everything is going bananas. We don't know when we'll be able to hang out with our friends, and all of that pressure, all of that anxiety can build up, and it could be a lot. So how are you doing? DM us and let us know, or DM me and let me know. We want to be there for you, we want to connect with you, and we want to reassure to you that God got us and we're going to get through this too. So last week we started to unpack our memory verse, Romans 12:2, and today we are highlighting the first clause, do not conform to the pattern of this world. Let's break down conform and pattern. The word conform in this verse means to identify with, to follow, and or to assume the same expression as a pattern or mold. Now, this isn't talking about your specific actions. It's talking about this thing right here, your mind. Your mind identifying with certain things. Your mind choosing to follow. Your mind choosing to assume the expression of a pattern or mold. And then let's look at the word pattern. Now, the original word isn't pattern, but it's age, meaning era, time span, characterized by a specific quality or type of existence. For example, there was an era where people would mail letters. Now there's an era where people send texts. So that's what it's talking about right there. And pretty much what Paul is trying to teach us is that we are not in our minds to follow, to be like the ways of the world or the type of qualities the world has. So what do I mean by all of that? I remember being a part of, friends in high school, like growing up with them, and it would be certain situations where we would be hanging out together and, we'll be sitting there and talking about, what's the latest with social media, new music that's came out, and of course, girls. And with girls, the mindset was usually in regards to one thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't. So I grew up and I didn't know at the time, but it was actually that. It was actually those situations, being around those people and being a part of these conversations where my mind began to identify with them because I wanted to be like my friends. I wanted them to count me in. I wanted them to know that I was a part of the group, that I wasn't just a pastor's kid always talking about church, but that I could be fun too. And so I conformed my mind to identify with things they would do. And as a result, I partied a lot. I snuck out the house. I smoked so much weed. I had sex before marriage. And all of these things ended up not benefiting me. All of these things ended up tearing me down and ultimately led me to a very, very dark place. But the beauty of this is we do not have to conform to the ways. That's why next week we're going to be talking more about what does it mean to renew your mind. Because remember, Paul is talking about your mind. And you need to renew your mind so that you don't conform to the ways of this world. Now, let me be very clear. The problems, the temptations, and all the ways of the world are not going anywhere. There's no way to avoid them. If you're on social media, there's definitely no way to avoid them. But there is a way to equip yourself and to make sure that when life throws all of this at you, that your mind does not conform to the patterns of the world. And in order to do that, you got to know Jesus. In order to do that, you have to renew your mind. And we're going to talk about more of that on next week. Now, before I close, I just want to ask you a couple questions. What patterns have you identified with? What ways that are normal for society today are you following? Have you been following patterns? Have you been molding yourself to look like the world? No need to answer right now, just think about it. And if you're tired of what the world is offering you, because everything in the world fades away, if you're tired of identifying with that, if you're tired of all those things, if you want to be renewed, if you want to know what it feels like to truly be a higher youth, you got to tune in next week. Y'all have a great day, have a great week. Hey, basketball season's almost here. That's why I got my jersey on. Rest in peace, Kobe. Y'all obviously know he's my favorite player. And got my afro picked out. Hey, if y'all do braids or know anybody that do braids, slide in the DMs so I can go get my hair done. Y'all have a good one.